the end of the day.
It's Mel.
And me. You wanna know
How we did it.
You wanna know how we do it. You wanna know
How we
we're
doing
doing
it.
Welcome to the Mel and Me podcast.
At the end of the day.
What's up? What's up?
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
We are
We
back.
are back. Back in the house. It's been a few weeks,
Yeah.
and we just been kind of getting some things done, living life, chilling,
Yeah.
taking in a bunch of different stuff on YouTube, and just contemplating what types of things we can talk about. We are obviously missing Johannesburg. What
Yeah.
would you say? You'd say you're missing Johannesburg?
Yes.
Yeah, but real life calls,
Right.
regular life calls, and we have to continue to do our thing that we do. But we thought we would come out here and just kind of have a quick little discussion, do a podcast episode, and talk about. So recently, as you know, we've been, and of course, I mostly deal with this stuff. You don't have to deal with it because you're sleeping a lot of times. But,
Right.
with our home there, there's always a lot of business to take care of. It seems like I'm always on the phone with somebody over in South Africa, whether it be attorneys, whether it be the banks, trying to chase down our money and that type of stuff. Which is kind of what this episode is about. That's what kind of motivated me to
Yeah.
come out here and talk about this stuff, man, because I'm telling you, it's probably the scariest, one of the scariest things, I guess. I mean, I guess aside from the fact of just not being able to be in our home there as much as
Right.
I like to, and having it,
Yeah, when you're
waiting
abroad
for
and
us to
you're
come
away
back.
and stuff come up and you're having
Yeah.
to deal with it, it's
Yeah.
and then it's our first time going through it as well.
Right, right. But one of the scarier things that I've encountered is dealing with our money
Yes.
being abroad, right? And so we wanted to come out here
What?
and just
Yes.
kind of talk about it, so that other people who are interested in embarking on this thing, on a permanent basis, are going to spend more time or planning on settling in South Africa or already settled in South Africa, just to kind of discuss those things and some of the things that we deal with. We did an episode previously about challenges of home ownership
Right. Right.
in South Africa. So this one, I figured we call it challenges with banking in Africa.
Yeah.
And handling finances in South Africa.
Yes.
So we want to just kind of talk about that and share some of our experiences and perspectives there. And so this will be episode 23. I can't believe we're 23 in. I mean, we probably should be a little bit,
Yeah.
quite a bit further
in,
into it. We
but
should probably be up to about 27 now or something like that. 27,
getting
28,
there.
maybe approaching 30.
we getting there slowly with Shirley.
But it's content is sometimes can be difficult to come by, especially in our scenario where
Right.
we're mostly still here, and we're only there periodically, right?
And then if you want to make good content, I mean, we could just come out here and just be talking about
Yeah.
whatever, and but if it's not really benefiting, anyone, and no one can really learn anything from it, then what good is you just coming on here sitting
Exactly.
talking? That's how I see it.
Yeah, exactly. And then too, we get people that'll come in on other videos that find us, and I'll have conversations with them and stuff.
Right.
And we can rehash stuff, and we can share ideas and stuff there. So, it goes on and on. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about money and banking today for a
Yes.
little bit. And
Yeah.
so we just want to, first thing that we want to employ people, not employ, but implore people, who are planning on doing this thing, on any serious level, is to get your money right.
Please. Please.
Get your money right. I mean,
Yes.
even before we get into talking about banking, I just think about just the cost associated with doing this thing, especially when you're doing it the way that we're doing it.
Right.
You really have to you really have to plan, and you really have to be handling your business, so that you don't go under. You
Yeah.
have to be responsible about things. You have to be able to finance what it is that you're going to do. That's that dog is down there is struggling with
Allergies.
his breathing. He has allergies. We got a small dog that's sitting on the side of the sofa. He's having some issues with his whatever, his respiratory. So yeah. But get your money right, man. Because I mean, you can't bank if you ain't got no money.
Not at all.
So you wanna make sure that you're taking care of business. And I was actually looking at some other YouTubers the other day that's kind of doing this thing, and they were talking about some of the. I actually commented on one of their videos too. I forget. I just subscribed to them the other day, so I got to remember their name. So sorry, friends out there, if they happen to be watching, I don't know. But yeah, so they were talking about some of the sacrifices that they're making and some of the changes that they're making, in their lives in order to be able to accomplish what it is that
Right.
they're looking to accomplish. So I chimed in on their thread. I was just commenting that I could really relate to that, because I
Yeah.
think back to how when we started our thing, a few years ago, when
Yeah.
we started making those changes,
Yeah.
and making those adjustments financially and stuff, and saving and
Sacrificing.
investing and sacrificing in all different directions
Yeah.
to bring us to a point to where we could travel over there,
Yeah.
and do ultimately what it was that we did in purchasing the property.
Right.
So a big part of that whole entire process with purchasing that property was banking.
Yes.
And even before we decided to purchase the property there, I know when we went to visit, because we knew that we would end up doing that at some point, that we went through the process of trying to get a bank account established.
Right.
With ABSA over there. And it didn't work out. We actually went through the process of getting everything done, all the paperwork and everything, but then
Yeah.
it was just additional red tape and administrative processes
Yeah.
that were kind of were not to my my comfort level, if
Yeah.
you will, with what they
Yeah.
were requesting for us to provide,
Exactly.
even after we had previously provided it while we were there
Right.
physically on the ground. So we held off on that, and then we circled back around, and we eventually went and got with FNB. Shouts out to FNB.
That was real smooth.
Man, they are. FNB they're serious, man.
Yeah.
They're at least my experience with them thus far is they are
yeah.
a pretty good bank.
They are.
But we had to establish a banking relationship.
Right.
And, because when we're traveling over there, normally when we travel, so how does it normally work with our bank? Because you normally handle that piece.
Well,
As far as like when we know we're going to be traveling with our credit cards and stuff like that, what do you normally have to do? Just explain that.
Oh, we
Real
just
quick.
simply when you purchase the tickets, purchase it on our card so we can get the points. And
That's
then,
not what I'm talking about.
Okay, what?
What process do you go through with our bank administratively?
Oh, I call them to let them know that we are going to be traveling, the dates that we're going to be there, and to let them know which credit card that we're going to be using, so that they can put a flag on the card, so when it's used over there, they'll know that it's us and that it's not any fraudulent activity going on.
Okay, see, so now y'all can see that we don't plan this stuff out. I mean, I have like cues and stuff for the topics that we're gonna cover, but we don't get together and say, oh, we're gonna say this, we're gonna say that, and you can clearly see it, because you can probably see my frustration with her when she didn't get where I was going with it. I mean, she talking about how we paying for tickets and stuff. Keep in mind we're talking about banking over there, right?
Yeah.
So how do we successfully bank and deal with our financial transactions?
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Right.
I still was gonna tie it in because I mean, still
No,
got
you
head off
weren't.
through the bank. So, but anyways, so yes, that's what we do.
That's how it be sometimes, y'all.
Yes.
So we go through the process of and she handles all this, where she calls the bank and everything and makes sure that they know that we're traveling abroad and how long we're going to be over. I'm not going to rehash it. She just said it. But and so that's for our credit cards, because the last thing you want is to be somewhere and you go to rent a car, you trying to pay for the vehicle and they decline your card, right? And now you're someplace.
Because we had that to happen the first time we went, because I neglected to do that, and then when we were in the restaurant, then we had to call them because the charge didn't go through because
Okay.
they didn't realize we were there. So that's when I was like, okay, I need to ensure that I remember to call them every time we go.
Right. So, and then the other thing is, like I remember the first time we went. I went to the forex, the foreign exchange window at
yeah.
the airport, and
Yeah.
to exchange U.S. dollars for rand, so that we could have when we got on the ground. Because I was expecting, that we would want to buy food when we got there, or we may need to pay cash for something, and so I wanted to have some cash, but that can get to be very expensive.
Very.
So that one experience with that, and then I actually exchanged again while we were on the ground there at a currency exchange over there, and that still costed more money. So I'm like, yo, we need to have us a bank account,
Right.
so that when we're on the ground there,
Yeah.
we can operate from that rather than operating like foreigners, right? Even though we're foreigners, but that's kind of the concept, right?
Yeah.
If when you embark upon this thing and you're looking to seriously, do business, over there, then my preference is to operate just like the South Africans do. And so for us, that means having a bank account with a South African bank, right? In which again, we bank with FNB, in which it is a non-resident check account
Yeah.
is what we got set up, and we went into the branch, a local branch there, down where our residence is. Took us a couple hours, I guess.
Yeah,
Go
it was
through.
a process,
Yeah.
but it was worth it though, and they were
Yeah.
very patient too.
Yeah, and we had to have have all the proper documentation stuff, passports, IDs, that type of stuff. I was surprised though that FNB didn't require like APSA did, where we had to have like
3 months of bank
3 months
statements.
of
Yeah.
bank statements. Did we provide any of that?
No, we had it. We had it.
We
but they
had
didn't
it.
ask for
I was prepared. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had asset statements, bank statements, pay slips from our jobs and stuff here. So we were ready to go, but FNB didn't ask for it. So I was surprised by that as well. But it's just all about, if you're going to be doing stuff on the ground, I recommend that you have a bank account if you're going to be spending any amount of time over there. And I would just say, if you're contemplating that you're going to be spending time over there on any regular or semi-regular basis, you should probably have a bank account. Have a South African bank account. It makes it easy to do things. Because like now, I got my ATM. I meant to hold this to tape this with my wallet.
Oh.
Because I have my ATM card. I was going to show my FNB, not the number, but it's kind of cool. Plus, I like the ATM card. It's a real cool looking ATM card.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah,
bank
I did
card
see
that they
that.
gave
Yeah,
us.
yeah, it was cool looking.
So but it's all about, when you're going to be making serious moves on the ground there, you need to have a financial situation that's reliable from an administrative perspective, getting stuff done, paying bills, stuff like that, those different types of transactions, which of course we have to deal with that on an ongoing basis,
Right.
expenses associated with having our property over there. So I just try to operate as if we're residents of South Africa. Have a bank, and then when we're on the ground there, normally what I do is I make sure that we have enough money in our South African bank account. So then when we get there, the only thing I have to do is just go to the ATM,
Yeah.
with my card there,
And get
and
the rand.
and I don't have any. Any of those excessive conversion fees or ATM fees. I have yet to actually take out any money from the ATM from my South African bank account, so I don't know if there's an ATM fee. There may not be if I'm drawing directly from, like, say, a FNB ATM. If it works like it does here, then I'm assuming that there probably won't be an
Right.
ATM fee.
Yeah, it shouldn't be.
So we'll find out next time we're there. But nevertheless, that's why I have that. But yeah, and we just kind of got into this whole thing in the beginning. And we didn't say what's up to our South African family, man. So we just want to do that, So sawubona inideni wetu, kul
I am
ukukubona,
not gonna butcher it.
kul ukukubona. I'm trying to get those consonants together. Together.
So difficult.
Kul ukukubona.
we
Yeah, boy. See your funda. See your funda.
We were trying
Okay.
to do it. Was so funny. It's just
Yeah.
like, ooh.
So we'll get there.
Yeah.
So another thing, or one big thing. So right now, one thing that we just finished up, we are in March now, and we bought our property in what was October
October.
was when we closed out that transaction, and then we had a few months to go by, and we had to get levy set up, which is for our estate, the homeowners association dues, or the what they call levies over there, which covers all of the grounds and the facilities and the amenities,
Right.
the upkeep of the buildings, the landscaping, all that kind of stuff. Those are the levies. Okay, and so those have to be paid every month. We have our
Taxes.
our rates and taxes, our property taxes that we have to pay monthly, which that was a surprise because in the United States we pay ours like
Annually.
yearly. But in Gauteng province, from what I see, at least in our situation, we have to pay that monthly. So having a bank account set up helps with that as well.
Our utilities.
Which we have prepaid electrical, but our water is a monthly bill as well, and then we also have our insurance
Right. Yeah.
for the
insurance.
for the residents for our
Right.
flat there
Yeah.
that we have to pay. So it really helps us to have that bank account there so that we can have it set up for auto payments.
Yeah.
Like some of them I still have to get auto payments set up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've been able to initiate payments from
Yeah, it
the
was
bank
much
account.
easier, much easier.
Yeah, I've actually done it a couple ways because, like with levies, I learned something different. Like with our levies, when I finally got that bill, we had to catch up. Because they are through a different bank, I was not able to see that bank. I wasn't able to set it up on the banking side to make the payment to the city of Johannesburg.
Right.
And so what I had to do was I had to go to the city of Johannesburg website, to their e site or whatever, their online payment site,
Right.
and then put in our banking information on that site,
Right.
and then set up the payment to go to our bank account and pull it from the bank account to them.
Right.
In which I got that confirmation like just a couple days ago, a couple days ago, because I was kind of nervous about that because we finally got our bill and they had us our first tax bill. They had us in arrears, and I think they started, even though we didn't have the property transfer finalized until like February, I think it was.
Yeah, it was like
right?
the first week in February.
But they charged us taxes going back to the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So we had an arrears balance. And so I was like, okay. And I got nervous about that because in the United States, you fall behind on your taxes on your property, man, you can lose your property. I mean, they'll take and put a lien on your property, and before you know it, your house is up for auction on the courthouse steps.
Yeah.
And it normally takes some time for that. It's
3
going to be
months.
a few months for that to happen. But I mean, I was just
But if
thinking.
you're showing 3 months in arrears, and they was already showing us 2. I mean, it's like
Right. And so we had just gotten the first tax bill. So we caught it up immediately.
Right.
And but I'm glad I didn't wait until the last minute, because that's another thing. You want to be proactive
Yes.
with your banking. Don't wait to the last minute when you're banking from abroad or whatever, because you go to try to get things set up and you may have a payment due and you think you're just gonna go out there and make it happen. You may bump up against that deadline, which I know ours was coming up in a couple of days for our taxes.
Because they had
So-
got us the statement of when we had about a week before it was due, because we had just got that statement. But another thing is, it's time consuming. Even though I'm not the one that's doing it, but it's time consuming with you having to go through all that stuff on the computer, just trying to figure everything out. It wasn't like he just went on there and
No.
moved right through real quick and it was done. It was sometimes multiple days.
So another challenge that I had was, because I thought, and this is the City of Johannesburg website did not, and I find that this is often a problem, they did not like my prepaid cell phone number. Like for some reason, unless you have like a local number that has a certain format, if you go to put that 087 or whatever number into their website, it won't let you go any further. So a lot of times it presents a barrier for you. But I think what ended up happening was, even though it gave me an error, it's still I still was able to go up and set up my account. And I think I had to do some backdoor method or something like that. But I got it set up. But that's also a challenge.
Yeah.
With managing your financial transactions. But nevertheless, I was able to get the bank account linked in to the our property tax, profile and stuff, so that now we're set up. The next thing that I have to do is see. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, because normally you do that from the banking side, where you can have it as a recurring payment.
Right. We may
Like
not be able
every
to.
same day, every month,
Yeah.
it automatically pays it for you.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen where I can do that from the Johannesburg website for our property taxes. So until I get that figured out, or until I go to the bank, get with the bank, which I'm going to have to call them, I'm going to have to just manually initiate that payment, which kind of brings me to another point. Challenges with banking is, like, I made a joke when we first started out by saying how you normally sleep and stuff like that. So I'm normally up early in the morning. It seems like my sleep cycle is forever changed, because I'm typically up like anywhere from about midnight, 12 midnight in the United States, to 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. I might be up, I might still be up from staying up late that night, or I might wake up early so that I can get on the phone and deal with our people in South Africa, primarily like our banking people, to work through issues. Because I had this one issue where recently we got a refund from our transaction from purchasing our place, and so the conveyance attorneys refunded a reasonable amount of money to us, right? And it was deposited back into our
F&B account.
our F&B account in South Africa. Well, I thought everything was all good, and this was over a month ago that this happened. First of all, we had a problem with them just getting the money to
Right.
us.
That was the whole thing.
That was the
Yes.
whole thing. Just trying
Yeah.
to get them to route the money to us and stuff like that. And then once they did, the money showed up in our account, and I saw the balance. But F&B showed the balance as your day-to-day balance, and then it showed like a balance. And so I'm like, why these two different numbers?
Yeah.
And so I went out there and I went through the app a little bit deeper and stuff, and I found the screen where I could see it was classified as a reserve balance or something like that. And at first I thought that was similar to like what we have in the United States, where when you put money in the bank, our reserve law says that the bank only has to keep 10%, I guess.
Yeah, it's a certain percentage.
10% reserve
Yeah.
banking, right?
Yeah.
So if you put in 1,000 US dollars,
Yeah.
900 of those US dollars, they're going to take and lend
Yeah,
out for
right.
loans and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And, so it's a liquidity thing. Now you can go withdraw your money, but they're actually pulling from your funds and then going from somebody else that they kept 10% of
Right.
and go to somebody else. And it's just this money cycle that's always moving. And fortunately, you're able to get your money. But if you try to go get too much money,
Right.
they put a hold on it.
Exactly.
Right. And so I was thinking about that whole thing when I was looking at the South African bank account. So all this time has passed, but I started to see our balance, go down with each bill that's paid and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to have to wire some money over there soon. If this money that was released to us doesn't show up in the account. And I was trying to figure it out. So I found out after all this time, and again, it's been more than a month now, and I was concerned that, man, will they confiscate the money or take it or something like that? So one thing that you really need to be aware of, once you start banking internationally, is these international laundering laws and stuff like that, and the different checks that they have in place is serious.
Very.
And that's very scary. And I'm trying to make that adjustment to that. But once you get your money out, and when it's like $100 or a couple $100 US, say for instance, let's just say that would be what, 2,000 Rand or something like that, 2,000 Rand, 4,000 Rand, not a big deal.
Right.
Right. But when you're talking a significant amount of money that you say you have to transfer to your account over there so that
Yeah.
you can have money to pay your bills, which may be a lump sum, relatively speaking, right? It gets kind of scary when you see that money does not get directly to your account.
Exactly.
And then you get on that side over there, and then South Africa, the South African government essentially says, okay, tell us where this money is coming from,
Right.
or you're not going to get it back.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was dealing with the last week, right? Because I just had this money just sitting there, and I haven't been able to get to it for over a month. And the thing was, they came back, when I finally got on the phone with somebody a few days ago, they came back asking me for proof of where the funds came from, and I sent them the reconciliation document from
Which
the
we had
conveyance
already
attorney,
did that.
and I had done that previously, and
Exactly.
that got me even more scared because I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, I sent this to y'all already.
Given that
Why
the
you?
attorneys is in South Africa, this is going into a South Africa bank account.
Right.
We just thought it was, okay, you should be able to quickly figure out that this is legit.
Right, yeah, but they still came back and asked for proof. They were like, "Hey, we want to know where this money came from, blah blah blah." And initially, I told them that it was me making the deposit from our U.S. bank account to fund our South African bank account so that we could do business over there, right? And I was mistaken because so much time has passed.
Right.
It's been 6 months now.
Because we had made some deposits over there, and
I know.
some of that money, some of it got lost somewhere in the shuffle.
Yeah,
So,
we in fact we still have money. We still have money that's lost that we have
some
not been
black
able to
hole
find.
somewhere.
That we sent to the property management company that
Yeah.
manages our levies for
They
the
saying
estate,
that they didn't get it.
and they say they haven't gotten it. And I've been trying to work with them for over the past couple months, and I just get emails back from them saying that our email boxes are full and overloaded, so it may be a few days or however an extended amount of time before we get back to you. Well, it's been over a month or so,
Yeah,
and I'm
it's
still
been a
waiting for
minute.
them, and I'm gonna have to call them and so
Yeah.
I can get my money right, like I said in the beginning.
Yeah,
'Cause
but again, just another banking
they're-
issue,
So they're holding to our money over there. Somebody
Yeah.
has that money now. Fortunately, it's not a whole lot of money,
Right.
But still, it's my money. It's what's about $100 US,
Yeah,
something like
I
that.
mean,
About
I
2,000
guess
rand, something like
unless
that.
it's in some other, because I guess they have like different type of accounts depending on how the money comes
Yeah,
in.
trust accounts
Yeah,
and business
so-
accounts.
Yeah.
And so it can get a little bit hairy. And the thing is that you have to track that money. It's like,
Yeah.
we do everything via wire transfers from our bank account here. We'll transfer the money. Now, I tell you, it was really scary when we paid for that property over there. And that money went across. I was just
Right.
praying. I was
Yeah.
praying that money got there because that went to the conveyance attorney's accounts.
Right.
So anyway, but back to the story. They put the money in the account, and I thought that it was money that I had deposited. And when I thought further, I was like, no. I looked at the figures and everything, and I was like, this is the refund. And so I had to follow back up with them via email to let them know, okay, this is where the money really came from. I was mistaken. I thought that even though I do fund my account from my personal bank account from time to time, this money was a result of the refund that we received, in which you already have a copy in your possession of the reconciliation document from the conveyance attorneys. But I forwarded it to them again. And so she followed back up and she said, thank you, we got the document, and the funds are reflected in your balance now. And I went out there, and lo and behold, everything is even now. So I feel a whole lot better now that we got that money from the conveyance attorneys. It's reflecting in my day-to-day balance, and I have access to that money now. But for over a month, I just did not have it. So if you think in terms of if you have bills to pay, right? And you got, and you'll say you're abroad, you're here,
Yeah.
and you got to pay bills there, and you don't have that money
Right.
because it's tied up for whatever reason, you could have some issues there, right? You got bills that are not getting paid, and to me, like I say, if the obligations are not covered for our property, then I feel like that property is vulnerable.
All right, for sure.
I still have a lot to learn about South African laws, but I gotta give South Africa credit, man.
Yeah.
I've been thoroughly impressed. We have been thoroughly impressed with the banking situation. Seriously, when it's all said and
sure.
done, from a security perspective, from a customer service
Yeah,
perspective.
I'm not complaining about it. At all.
The
I love
safety of our money. I
That's
do feel like
important.
our money is safe. And truth be told, like I told you, I don't have a problem with all of the different
No,
checks
I
and
don't
stuff
either.
that they have in place,
Not
the
at
controls
all.
that they have in place, because that tells me that South Africa, that they are just as far as
Yeah.
being on the level
And really taking
as,
it
let's say, the
serious.
United States.
Yes.
When it comes to
A lot of stuff they
protecting,
do, we don't even do here.
when it comes to protecting their people's money and assets, right? They're going to make sure that you're not trying to run a scam on them.
Yeah.
To get a hold of somebody's money. So they have all the controls in place. And, it's relatively easy banking. They've been very responsive.
Yeah.
Via email, because a lot of my banking, if I have a query or something, I just send them an email, and I got an individual that's responding to me via email, and I say, hey, what's up with my balance, blah, blah, blah. I might not be able to call them all the time, because that's a challenge, just the time zone difference and stuff. And then you might not necessarily get through. And then, sometimes the signal is bad and you have difficulty understanding and stuff like that. And so it just takes a while, but it's fine. But I've been very impressed with how they've managed the relationship.
And I think another important piece is to make sure that you hold on to your documents, because like you said, you had to submit documents. Had you not had the documents, that would have been a problem.
Right, and that's I'm glad you brought that up, because that's what she asked me for. She said, can you provide a receipt of proof of funds? And that's when I realized that I was mistaken. I was like, oh, you know what? And thankfully, because again, it's been 6 months, and that's another thing. Keep good records. Don't throw your records away. If you have wire transfer receipts and stuff, hold on to them. Don't throw them away. Don't shred them, because that's what saved me.
Yes.
Because I was able to go back to my wire transfer receipt from back in October.
Right.
Because when she asked me, even though they confirmed that the money that they needed to release into my account was from a refund, right, from my financial transaction with the conveyance attorney and the developer that we bought from, right, they then came back and said, okay, we understand this is a refund, but can you prove to us the source of the original fund? So what they wanted to see was they needed to put this puzzle together. So if I tell you that I bought a property in South Africa, and that property was, X number of rand, right? Let's just say, just a random number. Let's say it was 2 million rand, right? And you went through the process, you paid for everything, all the taxes and everything were taken care of, financial transaction done. They decided that after, you weren't liable for any occupational rent, say for instance, or something, and they say, we're going to give you a refund, right? So that refund is what's going to get deposited into your account.
Right.
And so then the bank came back and they said, okay, we understand you got this refund, but what about the initial pot of money that this refund would have come out of?
Right.
And that's when it got tricky.
You're right.
And so I was like, oh my God. So, and I remember that I kept the receipt from all of our transactions.
Right.
And you should do that. I recommend that to anybody to do.
Yeah.
And fortunately, I was able to go back to that international wire transfer receipt that showed the money that we sent to the developer to pay for our property, which could then prove to them that, hey, he had this initial money that was brought into our country, and this is indeed a refund. Because for all they know, I could be a drug dealer who is sending money over there, trying to do something shady to launder money.
Right.
And so they wanted us to show that. And so that's very important. So keep all your records. International wire transfer receipts. Because otherwise, your money can get held up, and you really come to see, once you start banking internationally, how much of a hold your nation has on you. Our countries have a tight grip on us when it comes to our money.
Yeah.
And and at the same time, I think that makes a good case for having an offshore bank account.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm very glad that we have an offshore bank account in South Africa now. Because what that allows you to do is to somewhat free yourself from your country and their control over all of your money.
Yeah.
Right? Have money in different places.
Yeah.
And I'm not the only one preaching this. A lot of time it's only rich and wealthy people who do that.
Exactly.
They do it all the time.
All the time.
They do it all the time. It's us regular folk who have not woken up to such a thing, and who are now starting to wake up. Some of us, especially when we have reasons to, because we're investing in other countries and stuff like that, spending time in other countries. So another key thing is it just puts your financial assets out of reach of your country. So if they get mad at you for whatever reason, they want to seize your stuff. If you got your money in another bank account somewhere, can't be touched. Now, there are tax implications, and I find this as I'm working on our taxes as
Yeah.
far as having financial assets, because the United States,
Right.
they ain't gonna let you have too much without putting
Not
their
at all.
hands, getting their
They want
hands
a
in
piece
it,
of it. They want a piece of it.
right? So, and I believe the figure was 15,000 U.S. dollars,
Okay.
15,000, which that would be, I don't know, that would be what, about 300,000 rand or something, maybe a little less, 200, upper 200,000 something rand that would be. So unless you have that amount of money in the bank account over there, the United States Internal Revenue Service, they don't need to know about it.
Right.
You don't have to claim that as a financial asset.
Right.
That needs to be reported to for tax purposes. So that's a good thing as well.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind as well. If you're going to have that offshore bank account, that there are things that you can do to mitigate, or keep, our Internal Revenue Service off your back. And it's just to make sure that you don't maintain, over a certain amount of money there. And honestly, for us,
Right.
our situation over there, we would never have a need to have $15,000 US
Yeah.
in our bank account in South Africa. At least I don't feel it. Not at this point, we don't.
Yeah.
If we're going to invest, or if we're doing a transaction, let's just say if we're going to buy another property, temporarily. But then at the same time, it would be like the last time was. It would go directly to the conveyance
Right.
attorney's
Right.
account, not our personal account.
Exactly.
But until we are over there full time or something like that, we would have no need to have 300,000 rand in our South African bank account.
No.
So. So that's not a concern. But even still,
Yeah.
we have to have a certain amount in there just to pay our bills.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So we want to make sure that we're not, because it costs money to transfer every time you transfer money. So we don't want to do that. So it's easier to just put a lump sum over there,
Yeah.
enough to last, say, so many months or whatever, that we can just draw from and pay the bills. It whittles down, we replenish with a little
Exactly.
bit more money, and we just do it like that.
And again, another
So-
reason why having a bank account over there makes it a whole lot easier, because those wire fees, they add up real quick.
And it's going to take you about, excuse me, went down the wrong pipe. It's going to take you typically about, at least from our financial institution, about a week
Yeah,
when you do a wire transfer. So if you know you got, to pay a bill over there and it's due a certain date, you need to give yourself a good week, a good 5 working days,
Yeah.
for your bank to make sure that money's going to be available. I would say a week and a half to 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
Because
yeah.
it's going to reflect
Yeah.
within that week. But if the bill is due, you want to give yourself a couple days cushion.
And then, just like we just explained, the experience we had with, the money is misplaced somewhere. So again, you have to account for that, because nothing is guaranteed. So if the money get wired over there and then it doesn't show up, to pay to whatever bank you're wiring the money to pay the bill, then you have to account for that too. So again, just another reason why having a bank account over there would be important and beneficial for you.
Yep. So that's pretty much it. But yeah, so we just want to just come talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
Because it's something that's kind of been in front of us in recently, that we just kind of worked through, and we continue to make the adjustments on it and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
But I'm just happy to be able to have that banking relationship in place there.
Right.
Because
Yes.
that just makes it so much easier,
Yeah.
and it positions us for our future stuff.
Yep.
As we do stuff. So eventually we'll move more toward investments and stuff there, that we can
Right.
work from investments, and and then earning money there, generating money, whether it be from business, those types of things, which we probably have to have a business account
Yeah.
set up for that, right? And you never know, we might end up with people on payroll and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We'll see, but one step at a time.
Yep.
One step at a time.
Yep.
So, what else did I want to cover about that? We just wanted to just come out here.
Yeah, just
and
to be able to
say hello,
provide
because it's
some
been a little bit.
information, if it can be beneficial to help someone, like I say, those who are out there who are looking to transition in the process, maybe hadn't been through, some of the experiences, so that what to do if you, run up against some of these type of obstacles that we have, how you can potentially maneuver through them. So
Yep.
I think it's good to, when people put information out there that can be helpful to the next person.
Yep.
You got anything else?
No, no, just go back and chill some more now. So we got this out the way.
Yeah.
So I'm wearing my North Carolina jersey
'Cause they
today.
won
They just
today?
won the game in the NCAA tournament.
Final 16.
For those in the United States who South Africa, our South African family, they don't really care about
Yeah, yeah.
basketball. Maybe not. I don't know. But I think I've actually seen some people wearing North Carolina gear when we were on the ground in
Really?
Johannesburg. Yeah, yeah. You see that type of stuff all the time.
Yeah,
You'll see people
that's
wearing.
good.
Yeah, you'll see people wearing. Lakers gear, North Carolina gear. I seen when we first went there, one brother was wearing Cubs jersey.
Oh,
When we
okay.
were in
I
when we
must have missed it.
yeah when we were down in Maboneng
Oh,
district, the guy that took the picture of us down there.
I do not.
He had on the
remember.
Yes, he had on the Cubs
Oh,
jersey.
okay.
But anyway,
Yes.
a Chicago Cubs jersey, baseball team.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, but that's it. So we have the NCAA, the National Collegiate Athletics Association basketball tournament that's
Yeah,
being
it's
played
taking place
now.
right
North
now.
Carolina is the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
They're just to be the number 1 team out there. So hopefully they'll win the title. It's been since what 2017 since
Yeah, I
since
think
we last won
2017.
one.
Yeah.
So our daughter is a North Carolina alum. So we represent
we
for
rep
North
them.
Carolina.
Yeah.
This is Armando Baycott's number. He's wearing it now. I bought this jersey when Marcus Page was wearing it.
Oh yeah.
He was the guard, wearing number
Yeah.
5 at the time. But anyway, so we just represent for the Carolina Tar Heels. Go
Go
Heels!
Tar Heels.
But but we're also looking forward to getting back to South Africa
Yeah.
and catching some football, some soccer.
Yeah.
We're gonna go. We're gonna go catch the Orlando Pirates because that's the team that's close to us in Johannesburg South. Of course, they're in. I guess they're more southwest. Mm-hmm. Over in Southwestern Township.
I'll be ready
but
to go.
I'm looking very forward to, because I've only been to one soccer game. We went to me and daughter went to the soccer game here in
I haven't
Atlanta.
been to any.
Yeah, we went to the Atlanta United game. I've only been to one soccer game in my life, so
Yeah.
and it was indoor soccer in the dome here. So it's gonna be real fun to have a chance to attend one
Yeah.
in Johannesburg.
Yeah.
So, hey y'all, that's it. We're gonna wrap it up, and at the end of the day, it's
Mel.
and me, and this has been
The podcast.
Y'all take care. Holla at y'all.
Hello.
Bye.